What up, YouTube? It's Matty B. Welcome back to the channel. And as always, really appreciate y'all tuning in. You guys have been asking me to do this for a while. Finally got a little upgrade action, got a little mini mic, so I hope the sound's a little better for you guys. I appreciate y'all sticking it out with me. Well, I've been doing it all janky for the longest time, so maybe you guys will be able to hear a little bit clearer that I am somehow a little bit down with the sickness again for the second time this year. Don't ask me how. And if you're looking for 20% off some graphics, check out my new channel sponsor, QuickMoto. Use the code ONSCREEN for a discount that comes free of any and all choice. But enough about me. We had an epic race tonight for the Arlington Supercross Round 7 for the 2025 season. Both classes delivered. The Triple Crown, I love the Triple Crown. Definitely my favorite format. I'm not a racer, so I don't have to worry about the quick turnarounds and all that. But as a fan, it's awesome. We do miss out on the LCQs, which is a bummer. But if you tune into Race Day Live, you get to watch them during the day, and they deliver just as hard during the day as they do at night. So love the Triple Crown. Nothing negative to say about it at all. It's all action. You see the top guys all night. And as we saw tonight, putting three motos together played a huge factor in who won the overalls. So I'm not necessarily on board with having every race a Triple Crown, but I love how they're doing it right now with about three of them. I think that's about perfect. Now for some thoughts about the track. Turned out to be a wild one, really. If you looked at the track map, I didn't feel like it was anything crazy. Really, as far as obstacles and all that, I feel like it was a little bit on the basic side, but it's been really cold in Texas. I think it was freezing while they were bringing the dirt in and all that, so I feel like it got even gnarlier than usual. And it was a Triple Crown, so just a lot of racing going on, and it broke down like crazy. I mean, even in practice, I couldn't believe how many people were getting sketchy. It almost looked like Motorama, and that was in like the A group, and those guys knew what they're doing. So track was gnarly, and as a fan, I really enjoyed seeing these guys have to nail the corners to get some of those triple ins, like the second rhythm off the start, and then the sand section was cool at both inside and outside work at different times in the night. Whoops didn't look too big or anything like that, but they were a huge factor. They got edgier than anyone could have imagined. Everybody was kicking left, right, up, down. Saw some people get claimed in them. We saw a lot of passes, a lot of mistakes. So yeah, doesn't take more than 9 whoops for people to get loose, that's for sure. And I said this in a previous video. I really think the 9 whoop thing, I think, is a little bit less relevant than the condition of the whoops. I think once they get all beat up, especially with 450s and 4-strokes nowadays, they just tear the whoops up so much more than they used to back in the day. So I think that's the real issue, is just the condition of the whoops. And even think about this, these guys hit the whoops in a high gear on a 450, that thing's still digging. It's still got torque, and it's still tearing the track apart on a 2-stroke when you're in a high gear in the whoops, which is what these guys hit the whoops in. They hit them in a really high gear on a 2-stroke. The thing's kind of bogging down. It's not driving near as hard. So just one small thing to think about as to why the whoops get so much gnarlier nowadays. But the track definitely played a huge role in tonight's action. And what was going on with the smoke? I swear the whole first mains for the 250 and the 450 class were ran in Stank Dog's basement. There was a massive haze going on over the track. I don't know if opening ceremonies got carried away or what, but it was nice to see that clear. Now let's get into some thoughts about the race. Let's start with the 450 class this time. What do you know? I called it. I didn't think I was going to be right for a while, but Cooper Webb, it ain't Jerry's house. It's Coop's house. The dude owns Arlington, and there's just a perfect track for him. A lot of 180 bowl turns, and the berm's got gnarly ruts all the way across them, and that's perfect for Coop wanting to turn down nice and low. And he did kind of tank it in that first main, but he came back swinging in the second two, and the dude's in a dangerous spot. I mean, now they've let him get 2 wins in a row. He's got some momentum, and I really think everybody should be starting to worry big time right now because, yeah, Coop with a full head of steam and some confidence isn't somebody that anybody wants to deal with. So Coop with the win with a 6-1-1. Then we had Kickstart Kenny in the second spot. I'm kind of getting bummed watching him continue to just barely slip through Kenny's fingertips, but another second place. And if you take away that Tampa disaster with the lappers, I mean, I'm pretty sure Kenny's your points leader. So he's had a hell of a season so far. He's been the best I've seen him in years, and my foot just keeps going further and further in my mouth because I predicted Kenny to be like 8th in the points. I thought he was going to have an off year, and I'm happy to be proven wrong when people are doing good, man. He's been proving me wrong every weekend. He's having a killer season, and he's a little bit out on the points, but the way things have been going, crazy stuff happens by the weekend. You never know what could go down to put him right back in it. And then we get into the third spot. Oh, man, I don't even know where to begin. We have Chase Sexton. He had it. I'm at a loss for words, to be honest. And I almost saw it coming because, at the end of that main, he didn't need to pass Coop. He had the overall already. The check was going to cash. You were going to get 25 points, and he was still going for it. And that's when he made the mistake. And that's why I think Cooper Webb's going to win this championship. I just think that Chase is the only person that can beat Chase. In the last few weeks, he's proven that Chase has been beating Chase pretty often. So mistakes, I think, are going to be the difference. And this is me totally armchair quarterbacking it because I'm nothing compared to Chase. Never was, never will be. But you've seen him stall the bike a handful of times, and I think he rides without a finger on the clutch. So I do think that's one reason that he's having some of these mistakes. I think he stalled it at least 3 times just this season alone. I remember a few from last year also. It's his championship to lose, and right now he's kind of losing it. I mean, he's the fastest guy. He's the best rider. He's got the best technique. He's got the most bike skill. He's got everything except for the mental game and the decision making. So just clean that up, and he's your guy. But yeah, that was a tough night. It's got to be a bitter pill to swallow. Fourth, we have Jay Coop, and I really think he would have been your winner tonight had he been skimming the whoops, but it's kind of been the theme of his season. Who am I to talk? I can't skim or jump the whoops, but actually a really good night for Jay Coop when you think about it. A 3-2 and a 6, and he went into that last main leading the points with a shot at winning it, and he was just barely off the podium behind the big three. So he's had, I think, 3 or 4 good races in a row now, so he's getting some solid building in, and he's usually pretty good about staying healthy throughout the season, so I think we could see some podiums in Jay Coop's future here soon. Then fifth, massive shout out to Justin Hill, fastest qualifier. He goes 4.48. He was another one who had his name thrown in the ring for a podium going into that last main. Unfortunately, I think he botched the start and had a rough go of it in that main 3, but what a night for him, and that was a good track for him. It was technical, broke down a lot, and it was really good for Justin Hill, who just has tons of bike skill, and it's cool to see him getting back towards his best form. He's obviously insanely talented on a bike. We all know what he can do. He's just been a little up and down over the years. So stoked to see Justin Hill back firing on all cylinders. Sixth overall for Barcia, giving chase the business in the last corner in main 3. I don't even think it affected either of them, but at least Bam Bam's got some fire back in him. And how about that duel we had with El Hombre? We'll get a little bit more into that here in a minute. Seventh, AP. The dude was trying to go woods racing. He was going between the lanes. He was trying to go GNCC like he used to race back in the day, but I swear AP's time's coming. It's been a rough run to start the season, and when things are going bad, it's really easy to let him spiral, and it's really hard to break out of that bad spiral and get things to start going good. But I swear it's right around the corner for him. He's got his starts back. He's been sick, and now he's feeling better. So I swear it's coming. Y'all just wait. Then 11th overall, what could have been for Jason Anderson. I feel like he was really fast and good all night, but I feel like he had other things on the mind. He was out there in a demolition derby. It was 12, 17-2, and how about the 700th scrap between Anderson and Barcia? You gotta love it. I feel like they need a camera put on those guys all night at every round, just in case something goes down, because chances are usually likely, but bummer for Anderson. 2 subpar results in a row for him. He's kind of lost some of that early season momentum he had going. And then 14th, I said it last week, I'm saying it again. We need some more respect on Jerry Robbins' name. Goes 15, 14, 15, consistent. He's ahead of some good guys, and he's right behind some really good guys. I mean, all these guys in the main event are really good. And with that being said, also huge shout outs to privateers making the main. Mitchell Harrison, Anthony Rodriguez, Justin Starling, Grant Harlan, and Scott Meshy, who I'm sure was glad to race 3 main events in Texas, but didn't get a damn point to show for it. So that's a bummer, but good job to all you guys making the mains. Not an easy feat. Now into the 250 class, back to 250 West. I feel like some air has been taken out of the series. We had 3 contenders almost equal going in, and now it seems like we have one kind of starting to break away. Hayden Deegan with the win, 1-1-2 for the overall. And this looked a lot more like the Deegan that I thought we were going to get all along. I guess he's left the program with Christian Craig. Now he's back on the Swanee program riding with all the star guys. And from the outside looking in, I feel like that's really good for him, because if he's just working with Christian on technique and stuff, it's for sure going to help in the long run. But in the immediate future, he might be losing out on some of that intensity and stuff that he gets when he gets to ride with the group of guys at Star, with Davies, Mosman, and the whole crew there. So I think that's going to be good for Deegan going forward. And I think the boys are in trouble. I've kind of had him as my championship favorite, even through the ups and downs of the first few rounds. For whatever reason, I've just had faith in him. And now he's kind of turned around, and it's looking like I finally might know what I'm talking about. So Deegan gets the win, and the red plate stretches out a points lead. And he didn't even talk any crap on the podium. I'm starting to wonder if the kid's sick or something. In the 2 spot, 2nd overall, what an awesome feel-good story for Cody Schock, Club MX Yamaha. And this is a dude, he's came from the bottom. Like, I love a story like this. I mean, I think he's done a couple years of college for like graphic design or something like that. He's been a privateer. Quick story, back in the day, I was going to a local money race, and some people had told me Cody Schock was there, and as a racer, you got to be confident. I'm thinking, yeah, whatever, like Cody Schock, I can beat him. And let me tell you guys, I did not beat him. And I left that race thinking, I might not be that good, but Cody Schock is really good. I was really impressed then, and for him to get a second and a spot on the box is awesome. A lot of work has had to have gone into that, so congratulations, Cody. Stoked for him and the club crew. Then another feel-good story. 3rd, Michael Mosiman with a 3-2 and a 7. From a broken neck, retirement party. Doctor says, nah, brother, you're cool. Keep on digging. So he's back. In the offseason, I didn't even know if we were going to see the guy. Now we've already got him back on the podium. He's leading laps, battling with the Deegs, so awesome to see Michael Mosiman back on the box, back where he belongs. And it's been a long road to get there, but this might just be the resurgence of the Michael Mosiman that we saw years ago, battling with Hunter and Jet Lawrence and all those guys. Fourth, Joe Shimoda. I thought he was about to take off in that first main, and I need a status update if Sushi's hand still looks like Sushi. I don't even know what his deal is with the hand or what, but it was still a good night with a 5.53 for a fourth. If a couple moves went differently on the last lap, he could have had a second overall, but still fourth, not too bad. Then fifth, Marchbanks. I don't even know how the guy's riding. Mad props. He's got a torn labia in like 6 spots, but he's got to keep Mitch from rolling off a cliff, so he shows up, he's digging, he's grinding. He got a podium in one main, he got a fifth overall, so for being wounded, I feel like that's an awesome effort for Garrett. He's holding it down for Team Green. Then sixth, Juju. I kind of predicted this was going to be his toughest race of the season. Really more of an East Coast track with all the ruts and all that, and he's a West Coast guy from Havasu. He does all of his training, testing on the West Coast, so I kind of figured if he was able to get through this one unscathed without losing a lot of points, that he'd be in a really good spot, but unfortunately there was a little bit of damage done tonight. He only ended up 6th overall, so he lost a handful of points to Deegan and some momentum also because the last 2 Triple Crowns haven't gone his way, so that early season momentum might be kind of drying up a little bit, but all it takes is one more good ride, one win to get right back in it. 7th, Cole Davies, an inconsistent but flashy night with a 4, a 17, and a 1, and fastest qualifier. Every weekend, I still just can't believe how legit this kid is. I'm more and more impressed every time I see him ride. Looks like Ernesto Fonseca out there on the 100. I just watched 1999 125 East Coast Supercross reviews, so I know what I'm talking about, but Davies is crushing it. Inconsistency, you're going to have that in the contract as a rookie, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Then 8th, Enzo Lopes, a consistent night for him. Didn't see or hear anything from him, but it's just cool to see him back. He's had a long road also with the whole hand numbness, I don't even know, nerve. Some issue, but glad to see him back in the States. 9th, similar to Jerry Robin in the 450 class, we need some damn respect on Lux Turner's name. What a night, and really what a season for the kid. He was running top 4, top 5, almost every main for like half of it. Every time I looked up, his name was single digits on the board, and I just don't understand how this kid's so much better of a pro than he is an amateur. Like, I can literally remember him riding around in like 15th at Loretta's, and now he's doing better than that at Supercross and Outdoor Nationals. So if you want to be better at one thing or the other, it would definitely take being better as a pro. So great job, Lux Turner. What a season you're having. Rounding out the top 10, Jet Reynolds. Nothing too flashy, nothing crazy. I'm just so happy to see the guy continuing to get the laps in, continuing to make every race, and now he's in the top 10. So this is the direction Jet Reynolds needs to go. He's one of the baddest dudes I've ever seen ride a dirt bike. Most people just don't know it yet, so good job, Jet Reynolds. And then shout out to my boy Anton Nordstrom from Sweden. I think he got his YZ250F like 10 minutes before qualifying practice. I think the dealer delivered it straight to Jerry's World, but he put it in the main straight from the seat group. Crazy to see the advantage those guys have with the smooth track and qualifying. They go out and get it all manicured, and then they get a freshie to just go blaze some laps on. So Anton took advantage of that and put it in the main, got a point for it because pour one out, 22nd place, my boy Jordan Smith. I'm so bummed. He was on his way to that main 1 win, on his way to a great season, on his way to a lot of stuff, but now he's on his way to the hospital. Actually, he's probably already there, but prayers up to Jordan. That was brutal. I just saw a clip right before I started recording this, and he hit so hard into the face of the next whoop. So that was a bummer. If he could have just made it a couple more whoops before he hit that big swap, the impact probably wouldn't have been near as bad, but man, he just faced into the whoop. So they said something about rib injuries, but if it kept Jordan down, it must be a really gnarly rib injury because he's a gnarly dude. He's tough. So get well soon, Jordan. You hate to see it. And like I said, we went from 3 equal contenders. Now we're kind of down to 1 that solidified himself with Juju on the outside looking in. So that's a wrap on Arlington Triple Crown. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like always, let me know in the comments what you think, what you agree with, what you don't, what you like, and what you don't. If you think I'm stupid, if you think I know what I'm talking about, all the above. Even if you want to hate, send it my way. I don't really care. So next weekend, Daytona. I'm not sure if I'm going to be in attendance or not. I'm still a little undecided, but may or may not see you guys at the National. So stay tuned. No choice. Catch you guys next time.